There is a very thin line of difference between being foolishly reckless and inspiringly bold, being stupid and taking a calculated risk, holding on to a loss for some time and booking a big loss. Very thin line of difference. We often get excited about the positive outcome and assume that whatever was done to get the outcome was right. The oldest lawbreaker, to give you an example, lawbreaker on record is Mr. Vanderbilt, who built the British railroads. He was a railroad tycoon. They said that every transaction he agreed broke the law. He was immensely successful because of the same. Now, we can easily assume that he was successful, but he actually broke the rules. He could find a way around. We have famously seen similar traits in Mr. Gurukant Desai in the movie Guru. However, Harshad Mehta fell on the other side of the thin line. The same thin line has separated Airtel, who survived, and Idea, who failed. We all judge the process by its outcome, which is dangerous. The hardest thing about studying businesses and about investors is that many traits that fuel their success could have just as easily triggered failure, because lot of things which went as a process of the end results were quite similar. What did the big winners do right? What did the big losers did wrong? It's often hard to find an actionable takeaway from either, because winners and losers often pursued similar risky strategies with outcomes tilted over slightly by chance. Now, in case of judging companies, what we do as portfolio managers that we look for winners. We generally observe that winners are praised more than they should be. Losers are criticized more than they deserve. The majority of Benjamin Graham's investing success is due to owning shares of GEICO, which is General Insurance Corporation in the US. Both his initial purchase, subsequently holding the stock at high valuations, broke nearly every rule that Graham himself laid out in his famous texts. And we read those texts to take our investment decisions. We think Mark Zuckerberg is a genius for turning down a big offer to sell his company, but at the same time, we criticize Groupon and Yahoo with as much passion for turning down their big buyout offers. What's the lesson here? Focus less on case studies and more on broad patterns, the broader structure. You will get closer to something actionable by looking for broad patterns of things, like how fragile competitive advantages can be, how quickly people or businesses or economies evolve, and what is it that makes the customers happy. This thin line for the investor is the sixth sense or the hunch. After going through all the data points and before taking an investment decision, please remember that the purpose of going through all the data, all the analysis, is eventually to develop that sixth sense or the hunch and to take a call accordingly, so that you choose a company which eventually falls on the right side of this thin line.